So if you guys are here from my TikTok, thank you so much for traveling all the way over to my lovely YouTube channel. And yeah, we're gonna get into the sugar honey iced tea. If you are not from the TikTok and you just so happen to be a subscriber to my YouTube channel, thank you so much for coming back. Your girl has been gone far too long. If you are not a subscriber and you're new to my channel, if something that I say catches your attention or you like your girl's vibe, just be sure to like this video. And if you want to come back for more, be sure to subscribe, okay? But yeah, this is going to be a quick story time on when my sister, my twin sister, and I used to play with the neighborhood pedophile. Been gone from YouTube for quite a while. As you guys can see, channel has been under construction because I've been trying to find an aesthetic, but the aesthetic is me, so I'm just gonna do that. Thinking about making my story times a series. Gonna try to upload one every day for Vlogtober. So keep your girl consistent. Now let's get into the video. All right, so let me preface this by the same way that I did for my TikTok. This was around summer of '99. My sister and I were around 7 to 8. Yes, maybe 8 to 9. Not if we're, yes, if it's 99, we're 8, probably just turned 8. Okay, let me set the scene for you really quick. Hold on. Okay. Let me set the scene, because you know I get excited and I get to jumping all over the place. Okay, so there's my mom, my dad, and there's 4 of us, right? So my mom, my dad, my eldest sister Willina, my brother Creed, and then me and my twin sister Florence, and me, Florice. At this time, my sister, she was a teen mom, so she had just had my nephew. She was around 18 to 19. My brother, which is the middle sibling, he was around, if we were 8, he was around 13 to 14. So he was pretty much playing with his friends or, you know, over my sister's house. I don't know where he was during this time. It was summer, so he's more than likely with his friends. My dad, love you, Dad, you know this, but he wasn't really a present father like that. Like, him and my mom are married, are still married to this day. But back then, we were a very toxic family. So he was out running the streets doing what he was doing. And my mom, you know, she was working. She was a housekeeper at one of the MGM properties, and she doesn't drive. She doesn't have a car or a driver's license still to this day. So she would have to take the city bus. And we lived quite a ways from the strip. So she would get up late, or excuse me, she would get up early, be gone early, come home late, right? Okay. So I can't remember all too well exactly how we met him, other than the fact that we used to play at the neighborhood park called Justice Park around the corner from where we lived, and we would see him there. He lived in the apartments across the street from where we lived, right? And like I said on my TikTok, if you guys haven't watched it, I'll place a picture here. My eldest sister, who was 18 at the time, she lived in apartment B like boy, we lived in D like dog, right? But she still had her own family going. She was a new mom. She was living her life, whatever the case is. Let me also say, disclaimer, I do not blame any of my family members, nor my mom or dad, for the fact that we were hanging with this guy, because hindsight being 2020, everybody was just trying their best to keep it together. Like I said, my mom was having to take care of 4 kids and she wasn't home. My dad was running the streets, you know, and this is not in no way, shape, or form to bash them or make them feel like less than good parents or whatever. This is just my story, my truth on one of the instances of my life, crazy life, It's a story time, you know? And let me also say that if these things are something that you guys want to hear about, because I'll put more, like I'll maybe put a poll in the end of the video to see what else you want to hear about. There are a lot of situations in my life that are 100% true, 100% authentic, that to the average person would not seem real. Like literally, I'm in the midst of writing a book about it. Have been for like 10 years. It's probably going to become a movie one day, but I digress. Don't want to get off topic too much. Okay, so he was a white boy. He's about 17 to 19 at this time. And of course, to an 8 or 9-year-old, that seems quite old, but old enough to where, you know, he could piss on us and say it's raining and we will believe it. And I just remember him coming around, you know, across the street to our apartments. Me and my sister would be outside playing with our Barbies, or, you know, playing in the dirt or on the clotheslines right outside of the house. And it was always just her and I. You know, we were each other's best friends. And I can remember him befriending us once, and, you know, from there we would talk and things like that. And he would have, like, he would come over making jokes or funny faces and stuff that would make us laugh. And then we would walk to the park, and he would come with us, and he would push us on the swings, and, you know, he would go down the slide with us. When the ice cream truck would come, he would buy us, you know, ice cream, just doing anything he could to really seem like a good guy to these 8-year-old girls who didn't have no parental influence to say, hey, don't be talking to this guy or he's way too old. And I think he probably told us he was about 12 at the time, but I know he told us he was significantly younger than what he was, you know, that we later found out. And one of the pivotal moments that I can like feel like, or that I remember feeling like, okay, something's not right here, is when he had invited us across the street to his apartments. You know, like I said, we would always play right outside of our door, and like there was like these little conjunctions with trees in them that had like brick and things, and my sister and I would just like sit over there and play with them, or whatever the case is. Him inviting us across the street to his apartment. I can't remember, and I'll have to check with my sister on if we ever went inside of his house, but I'm almost positive we didn't. I know that we would just play around his apartment complex with him. And, you know, he never really tried anything that made me feel completely uncomfortable outside of like when he would push us. The way he would pick us up would be like, you know, his arms under our chest area, or when he would push us on the swing, his hand would be like gripped on our butt. But, you know, when you're in the midst of playing and you're a young girl, you don't see that until, you know, as inappropriate until you get older, especially if this isn't something that's aggressive or consistent, if that makes sense. Okay. I'm also working right now. Okay, so yeah. Now the turning point for this like friendship with us, and we were probably hanging out with him for about 6-7 weeks, you know, before anything drastic happened. Yeah, about 6-7. No. We were hanging out with him for about, I want to say, almost a month before anything drastic happened. Now, where we lived, there was this empty lot next to us, like this vacant lot where they were either building onto the apartments or building another set of houses there. I can't remember because I haven't been back over there since we moved when we were kids, but it was empty and full of like construction stuff and wood chips and things like that, right? He took me and my sister there, right? And we were playing around over there. And I remember being like, why is we're so ashy. Why are we so dirty? Why are we playing over here? Like, we play in our apartments or your apartment so we could go to the park. Why are we playing right here? And he told us that he wanted to play a game. So he had me and my sister stripped down to our underwear. Okay, and he buried us in the wood chips. Like, there was this big pile of fucking wood chips, and he buried me and my sister in them, right? And I remember him telling us, because we started crying. It was heavy, we were itchy, we were scared, whatever. And I remember him telling us, like, if you want me to take you out and you don't want to be buried alive, then you and your sister will have to touch each other. You know, you'll have to play a little game. Here's where it gets interesting. I don't know if shock set in. I don't know if my subconscious just refuses to allow me to remember because it was trauma. And I'll have to confer with my sister on this to see if she remembers. But I don't know what happened after that. I remember getting home being filled of like dirt and wood chip particles and shit, and my mom being there and her getting so upset at me and my sister for getting completely dirty, and her whooping our butt and then putting us in the bathtub. Like, I remember that part. I don't know what happened between after he told us to start touching ourselves and then getting back home. I don't know if he took us home. I don't know if we actually did touch each other. I don't know if someone like found us there. I promise you guys, I don't remember what happened. I just remember being completely frightened, thinking, oh my God, we're gonna die in these wood chips. And this guy that we were friends with and thought was so cool has turned out to be very evil. And getting home and not being able to explain it to my mom, and her whooping our ass and then putting us in the bathtub. Like, it was literally 0 to 100. Like, she seen us. Where were you guys? I was looking for y'all, and then y'all come here and y'all are completely dirty and da-da-da, and whooped us. And so even if there was no chance for us to be able to explain it to her because she was so upset and panicked from looking for us. The crazy thing is, I don't, and I know I'm giving you guys a lot of I don't knows, but this is so long ago, and you got to understand how traumatic it must have been for 8-year-old Florice, right? Okay. I remember, and I'm not sure on the timeline, which is why I don't want to give you guys any false information. So I'm sorry if I'm giving you a lot of I don't knows, but I would prefer to give you an I don't know rather than some bullshit. I can't remember the timeline, but I know it was a few months. It couldn't have been years because we were still living on Webster Street when we seen him on the TV. It was either America's Most Wanted or something like that, but it was on a news network where he was wanted and they were looking for him for a string of molestations. And I remember sitting there with my sister like, oh my God, and grabbing her hand like, we know this nigga. This was our friend. And I think he said his name was like Jason or something like that. Something with the J. Okay? And he was actually fucking 26. He wasn't 19. He definitely wasn't 12. But he was in his late 20s. And he was wanted for a string of molestations and rapes. And I just thank God every day that we're not playing with him for a long time, and that 2, he never did anything serious to hurt us, because he could have very well fucking kidnapped us. He could have killed us. He could have R-worded us. He could have did all of that, and nobody would have ever known because we were playing with him alone for quite some time. And as you guys will hear me say in more story times, I truly believe that a lot of the situations my sister and I were in that we either got out of or we faced was because we were together. You get what I'm saying? It's different when you're one person having to deal with certain things. You may not be able to do everything right, or your brain might not register. But when it's 2 of you, the likelihood of someone being able to abuse you is slim to none. And if they do, it won't be for long, because the ability for the predator to keep 2 people quiet is very hard and very difficult. So there will be situations where I will give you story times in the future where, me and my sister have come close to other things, but they either didn't happen or they didn't go on for long, because I truly believe it was her and I. That's just going to be the running theme. I'll probably put this under my twin and I playlist for story times, because a lot of the things that I will be doing story times on, if you guys take well to this, will be me and my sister. She's my twin. And if you are a twin, or if you have a sibling that is close to you in age, you understand exactly what kind of bond I'm talking about. But yeah, I didn't want to hold you guys long because I want to see, you know, how you guys like the story time, how you like my narration, if this really does good. If you want to hear more, you know, be sure to like this video if you haven't already. Share it with other people, more than anything, just so we can start a dialogue, perhaps bring up some awareness to, you know, childhood predatory issues. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to my story time. I'm so glad, and hopefully I can stay consistent for the month of October for Vlogtober story times. And without further ado, your girl is out. Peace. Okay, guys, and here is when I FaceTimed my sister about that blank space of time between the burial and when we got back home to see if she remembered anything. But for some reason, when I screen recorded the conversation, it didn't save our audio. But if you guys can't tell by her expressions, she was basically agreeing with everything the fuck that I had to say. And interestingly enough, she doesn't remember that part either. So she says here that she remembers being buried, and then she remembers getting home, but everything in between she doesn't remember. See? Yeah, everything in between and after, I don't remember that. So yeah, Florence, if you see this, comment down below so the people, you know, can fact check my fact checks. And then, yeah, she also has a YouTube channel, which will be in the description box down below, F&E Collision. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So sorry. Somebody help me figure out how to audio record the screen recordings from FaceTimes. But yeah, judge your mama, not me. Love you guys. Bye.